Traveling through the perilous world of cultivating immortals, Shi Nian only wanted to lie flat and live until his death. However, why are there some things wrong with my classmates around me? The senior sister of Gao Leng is a malicious female supporting character who was eventually soul drawn and bone stripped by her own partner just to save a mortal woman. The gentle second senior brother is a great source of resentment. His childhood sweetheart's fiancé hugged a poor boy and said, "They are the true love." In the end, the poor boy even knocked on his door, ruining his entire cultivation. The cold third senior brother is a martial arts enthusiast with only swordsmanship in his eyes, but he is obsessed by the female protagonist, who says he only loves him. The male protagonist is jealous of this, and the third senior brother is schemed and dies with 10,000 arrows piercing through his heart. The kind-hearted junior sister saved a tiger demon, who admired her every word. In the blink of an eye, she threw her into the abyss for the sake of the female lead, causing her to fall into a demon and ultimately die tragically under the righteous sword. Shi Nian was surprised to find that she was wearing 4 books at the same time. And all of her classmates are the big villains in the book when a group of protagonists, justice comes knocking on their door with awe. When lying flat all the time, I feel startled. When did she become invincible? Keywords of the novel. Refusing internal competition, supporting a nun who only wants to lie flat. No pop-ups, refuse involution, cultivator girl only wants to lie flat. Download the complete set of TXT, refuse internal competition, the nun only wants to lie flat. Latest chapter reading. Chapter 1. Waste Junior Sister. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1 Waste Junior Sister, today's daily task. Say hello to 10 people. Say hello to Senior Sister. Experience points +2. Say hello to second senior brother. Experience points +2. Greet third senior brother, experience points +2. Say hello to junior sister. Experience points +2. Greet unknown individuals. Experience points +1. Greeting unknown individuals, experience points +1. Listening to the constant prompts in his mind, the smile on Shi Nian's face became increasingly bright. On the system panel, her level today is already 87, just a few experience points away, and she will soon be able to level 88. 88 level, what an auspicious number. Look, they are the 5 disciples of Ling Tian's sword master. Jian Zun's disciples have a similar temperament to Jian Zun, one by one they are taller and colder. How could that be? Senior sister Shi is so kind. Look, she walked all the way, even when she saw a low-level disciple, she greeted her with a smile. That's just the beginning. Newly introduced disciple. This moment. The disciple of Ling Tian's sword lord, Tian Tuan, has already walked towards this side. The new disciple's face suddenly showed a hint of admiration. Senior sister Shi Nian looks the most kind. If she says hello to her later, how should she respond? Greet unknown individuals. Experience points +1. Shi Nian pondered for a moment. I have already greeted 9 people. The last opportunity is for her dear master. She walked calmly through the group of disciples. The new disciple, who was prepared for all responses, said, Why? Why should senior sister ignore him? Is he not as good looking as the previous few? Impossible. He is a famous little white-faced person. The old man next to him said sympathetically, habit is good. Senior sister Shi has a strange habit of only greeting the first 5 people she meets in a day. New disciple. Do you still have this kind of quirk? I don't read much, don't deceive me. Not only that, said someone next to her. Senior sister Shi also goes to the Baichao garden every day to pick up 10 grasses. I also run suddenly for half an hour every day. At dawn, someone once saw senior sister Shi performing a strange exercise in a remote corner. She said it was radio gymnastics. Shi Nian is clearly a celebrity in this Shenwu sect. As soon as someone starts, others keep talking about her various glorious deeds. The new disciple was taken aback by the sound. After a while, a newcomer asked, Ling Tian's sword master, can be considered the top expert of our Shenwu sect besides the head teacher. Are the disciples of sword master also very powerful? There was a moment of silence on the field. The new disciple is a bit confused. Did he say the wrong thing? An old disciple patted him on the shoulder, sighed, and said, among the 5 disciples of Sword Lord, 4 of them are outstanding among their peers. Only at this moment, Nian's senior sister. For so many years, his cultivation has remained at the top level of the qi refining period. It should be 10 years since he broke through. 10 years. The refining period. The newcomers were all stunned. Generally speaking, even for people with average qualifications, after 10 years, they will have to endure until the construction period. Shi Nian is the disciple of Sword Lord and definitely not lacking in resources, but for so many years, he is still at the top of the qi refining stage. That can only be said to be there's one waste left. The corner of the old disciple's lips also showed a hint of mockery to some extent. What's the use of poor strength? With a good master, they can still make a name for themselves. If it were someone else, they would probably have been expelled from the sect long ago. Between words, there is quite a bit of unwillingness. Alright, stop talking, the person next to me reminded. The person reluctantly silenced. The new disciple listened silently. Shi Nian. A super useless person with a strong background and eccentric behavior. Just now, looking at the new disciple who was still admiring Shi Nian, I also looked down upon him. It's just the top layer during the refining period. They can surpass this so-called senior sister in 1 or 2 years. On Lingtian Peak, in front of a simple bamboo house. Master Mu Nanqing took a step forward and said, Master, Nanqing is leading his junior brothers and sisters to come and pay respects to Master. A few seconds later. The door of the bamboo house is automatic when there is no wind. Mu Nanqing walked in with everyone. Inside the bamboo house, a handsome man with a cold face sat on a bamboo chair, leisurely pouring and drinking. Ling Tianjian saw his 5 disciples and was about to pour himself another glass of wine. Suddenly, a figure rushed over. Master. Let me go. Shi Nian snatched his master's wine jug and poured him a glass of wine with great desperation. Master, please use it. Ling Tianjian looked at her speechlessly. At the same time, in Shi Nian's mind, a mechanical sound sounded. Daily tasks. Filial piety to master. Experience points +5. Xiao Nian, you. Ling Tianjian coughed lightly and was about to speak. Shi Nian suddenly remembered something and a bright smile appeared on his face. Master, good morning. She also has a daily routine of greeting. Sword Lord. Good. Daily tasks. Say hello to the master. Experience points +5. At the same time, a comfortable feeling emerged, and with these 10 experience points, Shi Nian finally reached level 88. Woo 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 woo. 13 years ago. She is now 16 years old and has been in this world for 13 years. This system has been traveling with her for 13 years. For 13 years now, she has been working diligently on various daily and non-daily tasks, and finally, she has reached level 88. Shi Nian couldn't help but burst into tears. Sword Lord was a bit confused, and soon his gaze softened. Xiao Nian, this child. Although her talent is not good, she really has a heart of admiration for herself. He just said hello to her. Look at how excited she is. However, Ling Tian's Sword Lord's expression quickly became cold and hard. This time, he can never be more heartless. Shi Nian. Ling Tianjian squinted his eyes. When I heard it, it was shouting by name and surname, representing extreme danger. She knelt down proficiently on the spot and said, "Master, I was wrong. I dare not do it again. Please rest assured that I will definitely correct it next time." "Master, junior sister already knows she's wrong. Don't be angry," Mu Nanqing also helped. "Yes, Xiaonian's cuteness must not have been intentional," second senior brother Lu Xingji protected her thoughtlessly. Third senior brother looked cold and said, "Master, who told you about junior sister?" He touched the sword around his waist, as if he was going to cause trouble afterwards. "Master," Lin Tian said with a smile, "you're the best. You won't be willing to punish your senior sister. Master, please spare your senior sister this time. Next time, can I bring my favorite little bug to play with Master?" Ling Tianjian sneered and said, "You four, just continue to spoil her. One day, you will completely spoil her into a useless person." Shi Nian became unhappy and said, "Master, I haven't been used to being a waste by everyone." Sword Lord glanced at her. "Haha. I said she's useless, is this disciple unhappy? That's not bad, it's somewhat shameful." The next moment, Shi Nianri said confidently, "I was originally a waste. I can't blame everyone." End of this chapter. Chapter 2, This is about dying. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2, This is about dying. Ling Tian's Sword Lord extended his finger and trembled as he pointed at Shi Nian. He shouldn't expect this bastard to have any sense of shame. At the next moment, Sword Lord angrily said, "Shi Nian. Do you know that your cultivation has not increased, and the sect leaders have approached me many times? Those new disciples have surpassed you in groups, and you really have no idea." Shi Nian was about to cry and said, "Master, there's nothing I can do." Shi Nian is also very innocent. The experience value system of her system seems different from the cultivation system of this world. Anyway, over the years, her level has risen sharply and her cultivation level has remained at the top of the gas refining stage, without any increase at all. Ling Tian's Sword Master brought some rare natural materials and treasures to help her break through. But if it's useless, it's useless. She's always a little garbage during the gas refining period. Ling Tianjian Zun also felt that Shi Nian's physique was too strange. With so many good things to eat, a pig should have broken through its refining period. But unfortunately, she just doesn't break through. This child has also been working very hard. Just now my heart softened a bit. Ling Tian's Sword Lord remembered what the leader had said. Shi Nian's cultivation has already made many people in the sect dissatisfied. If she cannot break through anymore, she may really be expelled from the sect. He can't tolerate this child anymore. Ling Tianjian lowered his heart and said expressionlessly, "The rules of the sect. Those who cannot break through the qi refining period must leave the sect. If you have not broken through yet, I can no longer suppress the dissatisfaction within the sect." Shi Nian was stunned, and she hugged Sword Lord's thigh and started crying, "Master. When I was 3 years old, you picked me up and brought me back. Shenwu sect is my home. How could you drive me away? The real situation is, this world is a dangerous world where immortals, demons, and demons coexist. She has been staying in the sect and can still make a living. Once kicked out she will die, she will definitely die." Thinking of this, Shi Nian cried even more heart-wrenching. Ling Tianjian Zun felt a headache from her crying and couldn't help but say, "If your cultivation is not up to standard and you want to stay in the sect, there is another way to go, which is to take on sect tasks. As long as you can complete 3 sect tasks in a year, you can naturally stay." Sect mission. Shi Nian's tears hung at the corner of his eyes, and his mentality shattered. So, isn't that going out? "Master, I don't want to go. I don't want to go anywhere except by your side. Can't we just make her a good otaku? The outside world is very dangerous. Ling Tianjian gritted his teeth and said, don't do this. I have already given you the next task. 50 miles away, there is a stone mountain where a snake demon is causing trouble. Go and eliminate that snake demon, and even if you complete the task. Worried and fearful, Ling Tianjian thought for a moment and added, the cultivation of this snake demon is similar to yours, and it should also be the peak of qi refining. But you have many magic weapons that I have given you, so it won't be your opponent. This task was carefully selected by him. The sect mission, with the lowest level, is also the peak of the qi refining period. This is already the simplest task. He also put in a lot of effort to make sure Nianming stay with integrity. The peak of qi refining. Shi Nian forgot to cry for a moment. Ling Tianjian also softened his voice and said, yes, it's not difficult. Master. The next moment. Shi Nian exclaimed mournfully, the peak of qi refining. If this snake demon breaks through on the battlefield, it will be the period of foundation building. If it has any secret skill to burn life, it will be the golden elixir period. I am at the peak of qi refining, hitting the golden elixir period, which is a way to die. Master. You cannot do this to me. Ling Tianjian's eyebrows twitched wildly. Even if I win by chance, if I hit it, its parents come out to seek revenge from me. I hit its parents, its grandparents come out to seek revenge, I hit its grandparents, it. Shut up, Ling Tianjian said angrily. Shi Nian reluctantly stopped speaking. Ling Tianjian's lips trembled and he said, get out of here, you go and do the task for me now. If you don't complete the task, don't come back for me. Master. Shi Nian still wanted to cry. Ling Tianjian gave her a glare. Shi Nian immediately stopped crying and asked, Master, can you give me another life-saving treasure? Ling Tianjian took a deep breath, then waved his sleeve. Shi Nian let out a scream of surprise and instantly disappeared into place. The other few people were slightly surprised and were about to say something. Ling Tianjian sneered and said, you're not allowed to say anything, and you don't want to secretly help her. Before she comes back, all of you, let me practice here. This time, Ling Tian's sword lord has really put in a ruthless effort. A few people exchanged a glance and could only silently recite prayers for Shi in their hearts. Outside the Shenwu sect. Shi Nian looked at the small arrow displayed on the disciple token with a worried expression. This arrow is equivalent to the navigation of the immortal world. Follow the arrow to find the snake demon. But she is very scared. Has the sect really investigated thoroughly? Is this snake demon really the pinnacle of qi refining? Is it possible that it is a demon prince who has been wandering in the human world? Killing it oneself would offend the entire demon race. The more I think, the more anxious I become. With so little information, she passed by like this, it's like dying. No way. She can't just go like this. She needs to be cautious. Shi Nian gave Wuzong a reluctant glance. Woo 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 woo. Her warm home. I don't know if she can still come back. Shi Nian walked back and forth. Ling Tian's sword lord's gaze penetrated through nothingness, capturing all of this. I couldn't help but snort coldly. This useless thing. Just a snake demon, as for being afraid of this. This is too extreme to cherish life and land. This time. No matter what, we can no longer be soft-hearted. Shi Nian stood on her flying sword, trembling with fear as she flew. It's just that her flying altitude is only about 1 meter above the ground. A little higher. That is absolutely not possible. If it's over 1 meter and falls, in case it lands on the head, it could be fatal. She always thought that she would never capsize in such a place. Of course. If it weren't for worry, she would be exhausted if she had to walk 50 miles. Shi Nian didn't even want to use a flying sword. The speed of the flying sword is quite fast. Shi Nian quickly arrived at the bottom of the stone mountain. She is worried, is she going to find a way to investigate the strength of that snake demon? Suddenly, she heard the girl's crisp voice. Don't worry, I am already at the peak of my chi refining period now. Moreover, I have only reached the peak in a year. As my master has said, I am a genius in cultivating immortals. Although this snake demon is at the peak of my chi refining period like me, I have a magic weapon bestowed by my master, and it is definitely not my opponent. Shi Nian's gaze flickered. She carefully poked her head out to take a look. Yo! Surprisingly, it's you Donger. This is an acquaintance. The 100 Flowers Immortal Lord in the sect recently took in a closed-door disciple, who is said to possess the 100 Flowers spirit body and is the best descendant of the 100 Flowers Immortal Lord. Moreover, she is very energetic, starting in 3 days and reaching the peak of chi cultivation in a year. The 100 Flowers Immortal Lord dotes on people as precious eggs. What does this prove? This proves. This Yudonger, she definitely has more treasures than herself. She took action to eliminate the snake demon, wouldn't she? Just follow along and pick up the leak. Shi Nian suddenly burst into tears with excitement. This is God helping her. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. Junior sister, hurry up. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3. Junior sister, hurry up really. Little sister is really amazing now. Then we'll wait and see her eliminate the demon. On this mountain, there are mineral veins belonging to the rest of our family. Now that the snake demon is acting like a monster, we are unable to mine minerals at all. Little sister, removing the snake demon is a big help to our family. Big brother, it's just a small gesture. What can we talk about helping? Yudonger said proudly, don't worry, I can eliminate this kind of monster in an instant. The eldest and second brothers of the Yu family immediately received another wave of praise. Although they are a family, Yudonger entered the immortal sect and has been different since then. They inevitably showed a little more respect to this sister. Yudonger said with a hint of frustration, speaking of it. Big brother and second brother, you informed me that this snake demon was causing trouble. My master heard this and said that this task happened to be used to complete a sect task. Unexpectedly, the master just released this task and wanted me to take it, but as a result, this task was stolen by someone else. I feel a bit embarrassed when I eavesdrop next to you. Emotions, this is a carrot pit mission. Unfortunately, she snatched it. Oh, that's not right. She didn't take on this task either. It was her master who took it. She said, it's innocent. How could there be such people in the world, said the elder brother of the Yu family angrily. Not really. Yudonger looked resentful and said, the one who took on the task is our sect, a notorious waste. She spent a whole 10 years and is still in the refining stage. If it weren't for her good master, she would have been kicked out long ago. If I were her, I wouldn't have the face to stay any longer, said the second brother of the Yu family. Humph, isn't she? Unfortunately, she has the thickest skin in the entire sect, Yudonger gritted her teeth. She just finished speaking. Suddenly, an unusually enthusiastic voice rang out. Ah! Junior sister Yu. Why are you here? Senior sister misses you so much. Shi Nian suddenly walked out and looked at Yudonger with a surprised expression on her face. Yudonger. Is this so awkward? She said bad things and even went to front of the parties involved. Yudonger's face was clearly not very thick, and after a while, her face turned red. She persisted and said, Master. Senior sister, why are you here? Junior sister, I have taken on the task of the snake demon. Shi Nian said very naturally, originally, I thought that with my cultivation, it would be more ominous than good. Now that junior sister is here, I will save effort. Please rest assured, junior sister, I promise to follow you honestly and not cause you any trouble. You donger. For a long time, she gritted her teeth and said, senior sister. This is your task, shouldn't you do it yourself? Shi Nian said naturally, oh my, junior sister, you're going to kill that snake demon anyway. Just help senior sister by the way. As she spoke, she grabbed Yu Donger's shoulder, as if the two were very close. Yu Donger couldn't adapt for a while, and she gritted her teeth and said, senior sister, you. I have thick skin, I know. Shi Nian blinked and said, junior sister, you also know. So she relied on Yu Donger. After all, what's the use of having a face? Living is the most important thing. Yu Donger glanced silently at Shi Nian. On the one hand, Shi Nian's face is indeed thick. On the one hand, she heard me speak ill of her just now. Yu Donger is still young, so she feels a bit embarrassed. Yu Donger could only nod and said, then senior sister, follow me. Ah. Shi Nian happily agreed, grabbing a handful of spirit melon seeds and handing them to Yu Donger. You, don't be polite to you, come on, eat them. Since her cultivation, Yu Donger had never seen such a generous person before, so she could only awkwardly accept it. Shi Nian casually handed it to the eldest and second brothers of the Yu family. The eldest and second brothers of the Yu family were also a bit embarrassed, but when they saw that Yu Donger had also taken it, they also took it over. Yu Donger took a deep breath and said, big brother and second brother, wait at the foot of the mountain. I and senior sister should come down soon. The eldest and second brothers of the Yu family quickly agreed. Yu Donger led the way. Shi Nian followed up with a thumping sound. The snake demon is on the mountaintop, but they don't plan to fly directly up. The noise is too loud, it wouldn't be good if it scared the snake demon away. Then we can only walk up slowly. At the beginning, Yu Donger still has a cold face. But Shi Nian praised her for a while and said, sister Yu is really good looking. If I had to tell you, only the bright moon in the sky can compete with you. Even that bright moon may lose some of your temperament. Praising again later. Junior sister is truly one of the few geniuses in the world. At the peak of the year, it's still the legendary 100 Flowers spirit body. I can't even imagine what kind of great person she will grow into in the future. At that time, the entire Shenwu sect will rely on her protection. Junior sister, the dress on you looks really nice. I think this color is very rare, it's specially dyed, isn't it? Junior sister, you. Walk the way, praise the way when you read. Yu Donger was initially a bit embarrassed when facing her, but in the end, she couldn't help but blush from being praised. This time, it was happy. She even began to feel guilty. Senior sister sure is such a nice person, isn't she just having a lower cultivation level? How could I say that about her? With this in mind, Yu Donger suddenly stopped and said seriously, senior sister sure, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said such things behind your back. Shi Nian was somewhat surprised. Ah, this junior sister Yu is a bit cute. She curved her brows and eyes and said, I snatched my junior sister's task first. Yu Donger whispered, the sect's mission is up to whoever takes it first, not to snatch it. I'm being careful. Senior sister, don't worry, I will definitely help you complete this mission. Just take it for granted and express my apologies. Shi Nian smiled lightly and said, thank you, junior sister. Yu Donger suddenly became full of energy. The two of them advanced all the way and quickly reached the mountaintop. On the mountaintop, there is a huge stone platform, on which a huge snake hovers. This snake is composed of stones throughout its body, but these stones are crystal clear and shimmer in the sunlight, making it look extraordinary. Junior sister. Shi Nian quickly hid behind Yu Donger and said, you go up, I'll sweep the formation for you. Yu Dong'er looked at Shi Nian helplessly. She didn't rush to attack, she first took out a flag and quickly laid out a formation. With this formation, within half an hour, even during the Yuaning period, one cannot enter or leave. This is to prevent the snake demon from escaping. Senior sister, please wait here, Yu Dong'er said, giving a coquettish reprimand and rushing forward. Shi Nian quickly hid and then poked out a small head. I saw junior sister Yu bravely fighting against the snake demon. The snake demon roared and circled with astonishing momentum. Sister Yu used 2 ribbons. Although the ribbons were soft, their power was quite terrifying when attacking. That ribbon is clearly a quite powerful magic weapon. The snake demon gradually couldn't resist. Shi Nian was very excited and even took out a handful of melon seeds to knock on. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. One sword, bright and cold 19 provinces. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4. One sword, bright and cold 19 provinces, snake demon, take your life. Sister Yu's ribbon suddenly lengthened, tightly tying the snake demon together. The snake demon let out an angry roar. Not dead yet. Sister Yu took out another aggressive weapon and suddenly bombarded her. The snake demon was injured and became even more agitated. Sister Yu is preparing to give it a final blow. Suddenly, a majestic force surged out of the snake demon's body. The snake demon let out a loud roar, and its body was shining with gold. My mud horse, the melon seeds in Shi Nian's hand fell to the ground. Her crow's beak actually came true. This snake demon is going to break through and build a foundation. Yu Dong'er's face also changed. She had many magic weapons on her body, but this was her first battle, and Yu Dong'er couldn't help feeling a bit flustered. She was desperately thinking about what magic weapon to use next. And the snake demon has rapidly completed its evolution. It suddenly broke free from the ribbon and opened its bloody mouth towards Yu Dong'er. Ah! Yu Dong'er exclaimed in panic, not knowing how to deal with it. She was about to be swallowed by that snake demon. A sigh sounded. The next moment, Shi Nian picked up Yu Dong'er with a worried expression and avoided the big bite. This snake demon surprisingly broke through the foundation building period. According to her original intention, she planned to escape immediately. But I am indeed a bit embarrassed. Secondly, come on. Yu Dong'er has set up a formation. Under the primordial stage, we can't even get out. At that time, it was to prevent the snake demon from escaping, but as a result, it ended up trapping itself. Think of it here. Shi Nian couldn't help but glance at Yu Dong'er with sorrow. Senior sister. Yu Dong'er said gratefully, thank you for saving me. She had just finished thanking when the snake demon, swaying its huge size, rushed towards her at a terrifying speed. Yu Dong'er's face turned white. It's over, it's over. This time, it's all over. What other magic weapon can she use? Yu Dong'er started frantically searching for a defense weapon. Shi Nian has a bitter face. She had already noticed that this junior sister was very unreliable. At such times, she had no other choice. Shi Nian took a deep breath. She held a defensive bead in one hand and waved her sword in the other. He used a move that was unprecedented ping a. She has no choice, she can't even remember those sword moves. This move is probably only enough to scratch the snake demon. After all, she didn't give any hope either, she just waved casually without using any strength. Her real idea is to use defensive tools to drag her master, or Yu Dong'er's master. Shi Nian was thinking so. Her casual sword swung out 3 feet of sword light. The sword light, in an instant, disappeared into the snake demon's body, and in the next moment, a dazzling white light appeared. Wait for the white light to dissipate. That snake demon. It has been neatly cut in half. I can't die anymore. What's even more terrifying is the sword light is still spreading, and the entire mountain has been cut off at a corner. The sword light continues to move forward, splitting through countless things along the way before slowly disappearing into the distance. Shi Nian's mouth couldn't help but open into an O-shaped shape. Is this the trick she used to level A? Is it really fake? The next moment, the sound of prompts echoed in her mind. Complete the main quest. First victory in battle. Reward 100 experience points. Complete the main quest for the first time and reward 1 world fragment. If you want to obtain more fragments, please continue to fight hard. Shi Nian suddenly snapped out of his senses. So is this snake demon really killed by her one ping? This is not scientific. Also, what are the fragments of this world? No matter what it is, she can never continue to fight. It's too dangerous. That snake demon was able to break through just now. Other monsters, let alone others. She often reads. As long as you can get by, just get by. As long as you can persevere, persevere. Ask her to take the initiative to fight. Absolutely impossible. The system seemed to have captured the thoughts of Shi Nian, and a row of ellipses appeared. Shi Nian completely ignored it. Fighting or something, it's not fun at all. Only Go is the highest mystery. Master. Senior sister. A trembling voice came from behind. Shi Nian turned around and saw the shocked expression on Yu Donger's face. Shi Nian smiled awkwardly and said, Sister you, listen to my explanation, Yu Donger looked up at Shi Nian, her eyes full of small stars. From her perspective, the situation is like this. When she was almost devoured by the snake monster, her senior sister, like a divine arrival, she was rescued. Her not tall figure stood in front of her, but it seemed like a big mountain, giving an infinite sense of security. That snake monster launched a fierce attack. And her senior sister. She just waved her sword so lightly. In an instant, the sword light was in full bloom, and the snake demon was annihilated in an instant. This kind of scene is too intimidating. Yu Donger asked excitedly, Senior sister, what was your move just now called? What is it called? Shi Nian was lost in thought. Can she say, is this ping a? Translate it as a regular attack. But facing Yu Donger's admiring gaze, she pondered for a moment and said slowly, this move is called One Sword, Light and Cold 19 Continents. A sword shines in the cold 19 states. Yu Donger murmured once, and there were more stars in her eyes. Indeed, it is as powerful and domineering as I imagined. Shi Nian could only cough awkwardly twice. In Yu Donger's eyes, her demeanor was a refined demeanor. Her gaze grew even more admiring for a moment, and she couldn't help but say, Senior sister Shi, it turns out that you have been hiding your foolishness all these years. Senior sister Shi, what realm are you in now? Building the foundation period. No, it's impossible, at least it's also the golden elixir period. Or even higher. Shi Nian is a bit confused. So, she has been hiding her foolishness all these years. She only found out about this now. I can't say it's true, can't I? Yu Donger became even more excited. Senior sister, am I the first person to know that you are hiding something? Don't worry, I will definitely keep this matter a secret for you, and it will never be spread. Shi Nian said, thank you, junior sister. Yu Donger's expression suddenly became cheerful. She ran to the body of the snake demon, dug out a monster core, and eagerly handed it to Shi Nian, senior sister, the core of the snake demon. Shi Nian asked the colonel to hand over the task, thanked him, and then accepted it. This snake demon may have hidden some other good things, senior sister. I'll go find it, Yu Donger said cheerfully. Go ahead, Shi Nian waved his hand. Yu Dong'er went happily. After a while, she came over with a bunch of messy things in her arms. Senior sister, this snake demon has collected a bunch of fancy things, but they have no value at all, complained Yu Dong'er. Shi Nian glanced and the corners of his mouth twitched. How to describe the aesthetic of this snake demon? There must be a common topic with an emperor named Qianlong who traveled through the world before her. This pile of things is all colorful and eye-catching. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Baldness. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5 Baldness. The only thing that could be valuable is this egg, Yu Dong'er said. Although this egg doesn't feel much of an aura, it looks so gorgeous. Can it be a divine beast inside? Yu Dong'er's eyes lit up. Divine beast. Shi Nian's expression changed greatly. Yu Dong'er's spirit lifted, and she finally found something useful for her senior sister. She was about to say something. Shi Nian said quickly, "You look so flashy, you don't seem to be a serious person at first glance. Hurry up, throw it away, the farther it goes, the better." What is a divine beast? The divine beast is troublesome. Remember. The first key to success is to stay away from all troubles. Yu Dong'er was a bit confused. Hurry up, throw it away. Shi Nian saw that Yu Dong'er didn't take any action, so he simply took the egg over and said, "Forget it, I'll throw it myself." Shi Nian was about to throw the egg out. Suddenly, she felt the egg in her hand tremble. Shi Nian frowned and looked at the egg with some suspicion. Only see. The originally flashy egg, at some point, turned into a very simple gray-white. Plus, the egg is very small, and when you take it out and say it's an egg, some people believe it. Shi Nian. What situation? Why did it suddenly shift from Qianlong's aesthetics to Yongzheng's aesthetics? Has this egg changed color by itself? Shi Nian asked Yu Dong'er. Yu Dong'er's expression was a bit dazed. She shook her head and said, "No, this egg has always been like this." Shi Nian frowned. What situation? Has Yu Dong'er lost her memory? Or was she just dizzy? No. Impossible. She couldn't have been dizzy to this extent. This egg is indeed very evil. Before, I just wanted to throw you away, but now it seems that I can't keep you anymore, Shi Nian said with a grimace, wanting to give egg a flat A. The egg trembled violently. Then, under the gaze of Shi Nian, he worked hard to grow 2 feet. Becoming an egg that can walk. G. The eggshell kept making a creaking sound, which sounded quite aggrieved. Wow, it's so cute. Yu Dong'er covered her face and her eyes were bright. Senior sister, why don't you keep it? It's also good to be a pet. Gg. Egg shouted as he jumped up and down. Bouncing and bouncing, the eggshell shattered. Inside is a hairless chick. Ah, so cute, so cute. Yu Dong'er became excited again. Shi Nian couldn't see where cute it was. However, a bald chicken without hair should have nothing to do with divine beasts. Junior sister likes it, just keep it, Shi Nian said casually. Thank you, senior sister. Yu Dong'er happily picked up the bald chicken. The bald chicken still looked dissatisfied and struggled desperately towards Shi Nian's side. Shi Nian glanced at it expressionlessly. The bald chicken suddenly became timid. Senior sister, please give it a name, said Yu Dong'er. Oh, then let's call it Bald Man, Shi Nian said casually. This name is a bit. Yu Dong'er felt a bit embarrassed, but it was the name chosen by her senior sister. She struggled for a moment and immediately said, then you'll be called Bald in the future. Bald Man. Is it still possible for it to drill back into the shell now? This will. The half-hour deadline for the formation has passed. Shi Nian no longer stayed, taking Yu Donger down the mountain. At the foot of the mountain, Yuda and Yu Er also saw the sword light just now. For a moment, they looked at Yu Donger's expression as if they were looking at a deity. Yu Donger's face turned red as she secretly glanced at Shi Nian. Shi Nian's expression remained unchanged. Just now, a mysterious expert passed by on the mountain, and this snake demon was killed by him. It has nothing to do with us. Yes, that's it. Yu Donger nodded repeatedly. It's just a snake demon during the qi refining period. That expert just waved his sword casually. The experts are all low-key, so don't talk to others about this matter. Shi Nian instructed. Yes, it's all up to senior sister. Yu Donger transformed into an echo insect. Yuda and Yu Er were a bit surprised. My younger sister is usually arrogant. Didn't she still look down on this senior sister before? Why does attitude change so quickly? Big brother, just listen, Yu Donger immediately said. Yuda and Yu Er quickly responded. Since the snake demon has been removed, they will now prepare for mining. Shi Nian couldn't wait to return to her safe home and left without saying anything. Yu Donger hastily explained a few words to her family and quickly followed up. Senior sister, wait for me. Yu Donger stepped on her ribbon and flew all the way. Senior sister. Why can't we suddenly find someone? Senior sister, senior sister, senior sister sure, where are you? Yu Donger shouted loudly. Shi Nian's eyebrows twitched, shouting so loudly for what? Too low. Key. What if some big demon hears about them and they don't like it, and they destroy them? Shi Nian could only grit his teeth and respond, look down. Down. Yu Donger quickly looked down. I saw Shi Nian flying low and low. This cannot be called flying. Yu Donger felt like she could jump even higher than this height. Senior sister, shouldn't she be afraid of heights? No, it's impossible. Senior sister is so powerful. This must be some unique way of cultivation. Yu Donger quickly lowered her height and arrived by Shi Nian's side. Senior sister, are you practicing something? Yu Donger used a questioning sentence, but her tone was very affirmative. What are you practicing? Shi Nian rolled his eyes and said earnestly, Junior sister, flying so high, haven't you considered the consequences of falling? Learn from senior sister, fly low, safe. Yu Donger was confused and said, falling. Falling. No way, right. Besides, with spiritual power, it's okay to fall. The magical tool is just a tool. They are cultivators of immortals who can fly naturally. What's wrong? Shi Nianri said confidently, what if we accidentally enter a forbidden area and suddenly lose our spiritual power? What if an old monster passing by doesn't like us and gives us a try? Well, the probability is not high, is it? Yu Donger hesitated and said. Junior sister. Shi Nian suddenly looked disappointed and said, we are just ordinary people. We must always be prepared for danger. Have you heard of Murphy's Law? The less we want it to happen, the more likely it is to happen. Is it something? Yu Donger was confused. You don't understand, Shi Nian sighed with a somewhat lonely expression. Godao is ultimately desolate. Senior sister, Yu Donger said with an eager-to-learn expression, although I didn't understand, as long as senior sister is willing to teach me, I will definitely learn. Shi Nian glanced at her and said indifferently, we are also destined, so I will teach you a little. Yu Donger suddenly felt refreshed. Firstly, if you can stay indoors, stay indoors. If you can stay at home, stay at home. Wandering around is the way to death. Secondly, if you can be low-key, just give it away if you can be persuaded, and absolutely cannot conflict with others. Thirdly, when encountering waste materials that have been divorced or ridiculed, one must not offend them. If necessary, certain benefits can be given. Fourthly, as Shi Nian poured out her bags and taught her, Yu Dong'er became increasingly confused. In her arms, the bald man nodded repeatedly. Its small eyeballs were spinning with a gurgling sound. That's right, it's too right. Its owner, if it weren't for the waves, could it be besieged? If the owner could have entered this debauchery earlier, it would not have ended up bald. The bald man looked at Shi Nian and felt like he had met a confidant. For a long time, Shi Nian licked his lips with a lingering desire. Seeing that he was about to reach the divine martial arts sect, he said, "We'll say goodbye once we arrive. In the future, don't say you know me in the sect." Senior sister. Yu Dong'er became anxious. I wanted to come find you. I refuse. Shi Nian said decisively, "You are such a delicate woman in heaven, it's too troublesome. Senior sister, I still want to live a low-key life." Before Yu Dong'er could speak, Shi Nian had already led the sect ahead. Yu Dong'er wanted to follow but dared not, so she could only touch Baldy's head with some frustration and said, "Baldy, it seems that senior sister doesn't really like us." The bald man twisted his head in disgust. "I don't like you. Excluding this bald person. No, it's not right, it's Ben Schwabi. It's so cute, it will definitely use its strength to win the heart of that woman." The bald man's eyeballs became even more active with a gurgling movement. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Is this the world of a book? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. Is this the world of a book? Task Hall. Shi Nian successfully handed in the task. It was just a low-level task without any ripples, and she successfully earned points from the task. Leave the mission hall. Shi Nian went to see Ling Tian Sword Master. Ling Tianjian Zun had long known about Shi Nian's completion of the task, and he was about to praise Shi Nian with a few words. Coming towards us, there was a earth-shattering cry. "Master, Master! Your recitation of the baby almost killed you." Ling Tianjian Zun had not yet realized that his thigh was being held by someone. Shi Nian tightly hugged his thigh, tears streaming down his face as he cried, "Master, that snake demon has actually broken through the foundation building period. Nian Nian only has the peak of Qi cultivation, and I have never used the magic weapon you gave me, so I am not familiar with it. Nian Nian almost died. Master. Time flies and howls are earth-shattering. What? Breaking through on the battlefield." Ling Tianjian Zun hesitated for a moment and felt a little nervous. "Good disciple, are you okay?" Shi Nian wiped away his tears and nose with the legs of Jian Zun's pants. Ling Tianjian's lips twitched for a moment and he restrained himself. I'm fine." At that time, Yu Dong'er, the disciple of the 100 Flowers Venerable, was also there. The snake demon was very brave, and neither of us was a match. At the last moment, a woman with white hair suddenly passed by. She probably looked at us pitifully and casually chopped the snake demon to death. Shi Nian repeated the lie she had told Yu Dong'er. White-haired woman. Ling Tianjian Zun's expression became somewhat puzzled. For a long time, he sighed and said, "It must be her. After all these years, she still can't let go." Shi Nian. Master, are you okay? I made it up. Ling Tianjian Zun, however, had already recognized something. He patted Shi Nian's shoulder and said, "You're scared, go rest first." "Yes," Shi Nianwei reluctantly responded. "But it's just not moving." Ling Tian Sword Zun's lips twitched and he casually threw out a golden bowl, saying, "It's a pretty good little thing. After being driven, it can defend against attacks below the golden elixir period. With your spiritual power, you should be able to sustain a stick of incense for a while." "Okay." Shi Nian took it over and muttered, you should have taken out such a good thing as soon as possible, Master. Master, is there anything similar? As long as it's a life-saving thing, I don't mind having too many. Get lost. Ling Tianjian, whose body temperature was 37 degrees Celsius, spat out extremely cold words. He skillfully waved his sleeve and Shi Nian flew out proficiently. Jian Zun glanced at his other disciples and said, "All right, you guys should also step down. Don't go looking for Shi Nian today, let her rest well." A few people all agreed. After a day of tinkering, Shi Nian was indeed a bit tired. However, she cannot rest here. Today's daily tasks have not been completed yet. Shi Nian bravely completed a circle of daily tasks, and then, facing a bunch of crazy-looking eyes, entered his own cabin. She closed the door and fell asleep. In a daze. I seem to hear the sound of the system. A world fragment has been detected. Do you want to choose to use it? Use it. Shi Nian blurted out before falling asleep. This sleep lasted a whole night. Shi Nian didn't even change his posture, but his face changed and he looked very uneasy. The next day. Junior sister, junior sister. A gentle cry rang out at the door. Shi Nian suddenly woke up. Her forehead was covered in fine sweat, and there was a hint of restlessness on her face. Is this a dream? Shi Nian muttered to himself. No. This is too real, it doesn't seem like a dream at all. Junior sister. The gentle call continues. This sound in an instant, tears welled up in my eyes. She opened the door and threw herself directly into the arms of the master sister, Mu Nanqing. Senior sister, senior sister. Woo-woo, I thought I would never see you again. Shi Nian leaned over Mu Nanqing's chest and wiped away her tears. Mu Nanqing was taken aback for a moment and then said gently, "Silly junior sister, why can't we meet senior sister?" Immediately, she asked with concern, "You don't look good, but what nightmare did you have? Did the snake demon scare you yesterday?" Shi Nian looked at Mu Nanqing with tears in his eyes and shook his head slowly. "I'll tell master that you can continue to rest today, so there's no need to visit him." Mu Nanqing became more worried. Shi Nian thought for a moment, but did not refuse. "Thank you, senior sister." Silly child. Mu Nanqing rubbed her hair and said, "I'll come find you when I see my master." Okay, Shi Nian nodded obediently and skillfully. Wait for Mu Nanqing to leave. Shi Nian quickly returned to the room. Something's wrong. Something is very wrong. This dream is definitely problematic. Before she fell asleep, she seemed to have heard something in a daze by the way. World fragments. Shi Nian quickly checked the package. Sure enough. That world fragment has disappeared and disappeared. Shi Nian's expression changed continuously, and for a long time, her voice was tinged with coldness. Is the system, this world, a book? The system coldly gave a word. Yes, not really. Shi Nian suddenly became suspicious and uncertain. She continued to inquire about this broken system, but refused to say anything. Shi Nian gritted his teeth and had to take care of it himself. She had a dream last night. In my dream. There is text, there is a picture. It is about the deep love affair between a cultivator and a mortal. And her gentle senior sister, in this book, is actually a supervillain. The male lead of this book is called Li Nanfeng. The female lead is called Yu Zhilan. Li Nanfeng is a disciple of the divine martial arts sect, who has been known as a genius since childhood. He secretly admired Mu Nanqing, who was also known as a genius. Helplessly, Mu Nanqing was only focused on cultivation, and Li Nanfeng dared not tell her her feelings, just silently watching her. Mu Nanqing has become the white moonlight of the male lead. Later on. During a mission. The male lead meets the mortal Yu Zhilan. Yu Zhilan and Mu Nanqing look somewhat similar. Li Nanfeng saved her, and Yu Zhilan secretly agreed to his love. Li Nanfeng couldn't resist the face similar to Mu Nanqing, so he settled Yu Zhilan in the cave, hiding her beauty in a golden house. From Yu Zhilan's perspective, this is a proper article about abusing women. The person she loves the most already has a white moonlight in her heart, only treating her as a substitute. These two people can just abuse themselves. At this point, the cold ice sword technique practiced by Mu Nanqing has made a mistake, and it must be practiced with a person with a pure yang body in order to save lives. Ling Tian's sword lord searched everywhere for the pure yang body to save his disciple's life. At this moment, Li Zha stood up. He stated that he had a deep affection for Mu Nanqing and hoped to cultivate a relationship with her. The cultivation world is vast, and the pure yang body is not just Li Nanfeng, but Li Nanfeng is a disciple of the sect leader and a young talent. After consulting with Mu Nanqing, Ling Tian's sword lord decided on their marriage. After their ceremony, Mu Nanqing unexpectedly discovered the presence of Yu Zhilan. Mu Nanqing has always been frank, and she directly stated that she cannot allow the two of them to be separated by Yu Zhilan. Otherwise, she would rather die than die. Li Zha Scum promised to dispose of Yu Zhilan. At the same time, he kept softening his heart towards this double. That's it. Li Zha Scum and the female protagonist abused each other. In the end, Yu Zhilan said she couldn't continue like this anymore, and then she ran away on her own. After running away, Yu Zhilan also had the aura of a female protagonist. On the way to escape, she saved a destitute man who turned out to be a disguised demon lord. This demon lord also harbored feelings for her and secretly followed her along the way. Whenever the female protagonist suffers injustice on the way, the demon lord turns around and goes back, destroying all those who make the female protagonist unhappy. It's just such a coincidence. In the family of Mu Nanqing, there was a disciple who fell in love with Yu Zhilan at first sight and passionately pursued her. The demon lord was jealous, and in the blink of an eye, he slaughtered the entire wooden family. The news returned to Shenmu's sect, and Mu Nanqing fainted several times. After Yu Zhilan left, Li Zha suddenly realized that he no longer loved Mu Nanqing, and that Yu Zhilan was his true love. He worked tirelessly to retrieve Yu Zhilan, while Mu Nanqing was too lazy to pay attention to them. All she wanted was to seek revenge from the demon lord. Finally, under the joint attack of the righteous path, the demon lord escaped with serious injuries. And while searching for the demon lord, Mu Nanqing unexpectedly discovered that the demon lord had been hiding in Li Nanfeng's cave. Yu Zhilan even took good care of him. Li Nanfeng and demon lord both like Yu Zhilan. They are jealous of each other and compete for Yu Zhilan in their daily lives. This is the Shura field that readers love to watch, but Mu Nanqing almost went crazy. She wants to eliminate the demon lord and avenge the Mu family. At this moment, the female protagonist stood in front of her sword, saying that the demon lord was all for her, and that on that day, it was the fault of the Mu family that came first. In and out of words, she actually felt that the downfall of the Mu family was self-destructive. Even Li Nanfeng helped to speak, urging Mu Nanqing not to worry anymore. Mu Nanqing's hatred reached its peak. She pretended to listen, but found an opportunity to poison Yu Zhilan with deadly poison. Isn't she the Virgin Mary? She doesn't think the Mu family deserves to die, does she? So, she should die too. Mu Nanqing succeeded, but Yu Zhilan's life was in danger. Li Nanfeng and Demon Lord were both furious. Mu Nanqing looked at them, but burst out laughing wildly. Li Nanfeng and the Demon Lord were extremely angry, and they worked together to use the secret technique. They found the legendary elixir and saved Yu Zhilan. Subsequently, they still felt that it was not enough. The Demon Lord drew the soul of Mu Nanqing and threw her soul into the soul-eating pearl, intending to torment her for eternity. Li Nanfeng drew the bones of Mu Nanqing, dug up Mu Nanqing's Yuaning, and transferred them all to Yu Zhilan's body. Finally, Yu Zhilan obtained all the qualifications of Mu Nanqing, from a mortal to a genius in cultivating immortality. Finally, Yu Zhilan sadly rejected the demon lord and chose Li Nanfeng. The male and female leads live happily together. And Mu Nanqing became the supervillain of this book. When she was finally stripped of her bones by the male lead, Shi Nian even saw countless readers cheering in the comments section. This despicable woman has finally died. Zhilan and Nanfeng, finally completed. Too cruel, too cruel. Fortunately, the ending was good. If it weren't for Mu Nanqing, the two wouldn't have worked so hard. White moonlight is used to disgust people. Although Mu Bitch ended up in a miserable situation, Zhilan even used her primordial baby's bones in the end, which made her feel a bit uneasy. Zhilan is just an ordinary person. Only in this way can Zhilan cultivate immortality, which is already the best result. Those comments occasionally come to mind in Shi Nian's mind. Shi Nian tightly bit his lower lip. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. Martial Arts Arena. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7 Martial Arts Arena. Her senior sister. I'm not a supervillain. She is clearly the best person in the world. At the age of 3, Shi Nian was picked up by the divine martial arts sect. Ling Tianjian was a big man who didn't know how to take care of a little girl. It's Mu Nanqing who raised her little by little. She is gentle and majestic. She devoted herself wholeheartedly to the Tao, but also gave them these junior brothers and sisters the greatest care. Her senior sister he should become a fairy and a god. How could someone be dragged down from the altar by a scumbag and end up like this? Shi Nian gritted his teeth, his eyes flickering with coldness. She will never tolerate such a thing. Now that she knows the plot. So, that Li Nanfeng, don't try to get close to senior sister. But Shi Nian looked at his hand and felt a bit conflicted. What kind of cultivation is she now known? Killing a foundation construction period seems to be no problem. But in the end, Li Nanfeng and Yu Zhilan flew together to become immortals. Now that the story hasn't even started yet, his cultivation level is not high, just like the senior sister, he is still in his infancy. So here comes the question: did she fight to death during her infancy? Time reading indicates a little panic. Oh my God! How could she have such terrifying thoughts when she died in her infancy? This is too low. Key. But she couldn't watch her senior sister end up like this. Shi Nian's expression changed back and forth, very exciting. Junior sister. The sound of Mu Nanqing rang out at the door. Shi Nian rushed out quickly, grabbed Mu Nanqing and didn't let go. Mu Nanqing looked at her gently and said, I told Master that you don't need to go to Lingtian Peak today. Besides, I also asked Master for leave. Is it okay for senior sister to accompany you today? Shi Nian nodded like a chicken pecking at rice. Mu Nanqing's gaze softened even more. At this moment, the messenger jade talisman on Mu Nanqing's body lit up. Mu Nanqing glanced at it, briefly replied, and then put it away. Senior sister, is someone looking for you? Shi Nian quickly asked. It's senior brother Li. Mu Nanqing's expression didn't change much. He has reached a bottleneck in his cultivation recently and often invites me to the martial arts arena. But today, I have promised to accompany you, so naturally I refuse. Senior brother Li. Shi Nian gritted his teeth and said, Li Nanfeng. Mu Nanqing couldn't help but say, Junior sister, don't be unreasonable. You should call senior brother. What senior brother? Shi Nian couldn't help but hate him. Senior sister, in the future, stay away from such scumbags. A scumbag. Mu Nanqing was puzzled. Why do you say that? Shi Nian hesitated to speak, and in the end, he could only say in a muffled voice, "Anyway, I don't like this senior brotherly." Mu Nanqing couldn't help but laugh a bit and said, "Junior sister, you've never been willing to offend anyone. Why did you suddenly have such a big opinion of senior brotherly? If senior brotherly found out about this, you wouldn't be afraid of him peeling your skin." At that time, Mu Nanqing thought that she had played with a childish temper and casually joked with her. At the bottom of Shi Nian's eyes, a hint of sadness flashed. Li Nanfeng, in the end, personally peeled off the bones of his senior sister and dug out her primordial baby. The pain here is more unbearable than peeling. But Shi Nian gradually calmed down. If this world is really a book, that Li Nanfeng is the protagonist, the clock of fate for heaven and earth. It's so difficult to deal with him. More importantly, in this book, the Lingtian sword sect had a deep emotional connection with everyone, but later on, senior sister was treated like that. From the master to the senior brothers and sisters, surprisingly no one stood up. As for myself, it never appears in the book at all. Time flies with suspicion. When the senior sister was in trouble, did the senior master and other disciples also get into trouble, so they couldn't help? Otherwise, unable to explain the last hidden spirit of Lingtian sect members, Shi Nian forced himself to calm down. Originally, I want to live well. Holding the protagonist's thigh is the safest. But people do things, but they don't. For the sake of her senior sister, she is already in opposition to Li Nanfeng. A hint of ferocity even flashed in Shi Nian's eyes. The best way to live well is to nip the future enemies in the bud. If you take direct action, it's too careless. As the saying goes, know yourself and know your enemy, you will never be defeated in 100 battles. Shi Nian coughed lightly and suddenly said, "Senior sister, since it's senior brotherly who invited you, it's not good to refuse. Coincidentally, I also want to see the excitement. Senior sister, can you take me to the martial arts arena?" Mu Nanqing hesitated for a moment and said, "Junior sister, aren't you the least interested in fighting?" Shi Nian's face was bitter as he said, "This time is different. She needs to first explore the depths of this fierce southern wind. Although I don't know if she can pass the primary infant stage with her level 88. However, in recent years, there have been occasional props and rewards for completing tasks. She put all these rewards in the built.in storage compartment of the system. If the props are used well, he may not be fooled to death." Mu Nanqing looked at Shi Nian with tenderness, thinking that she had been stimulated by the snake demon. She couldn't help but whisper, "Okay, then I'll take you to take a look." Shi Nian nodded quickly. Young people are competitive, even those who cultivate immortals cannot avoid vulgarity. The most lively part of this Shenwu sect is this martial arts performance venue. If there is a battle with elite disciples, both inside and outside the martial arts arena will be surrounded and filled with water. Front end. Mu Nanqing just replied to Li Nanfeng and agreed to his engagement. The next moment, the entire Shenwu sect knows. When Mu Nanqing brought Shi Nian over, the entire martial arts arena was already filled with spectators. Seeing Mu Nanqing, the disciples made way one after another. Otherwise, it would be difficult for them to squeeze in. Senior sister Shi. Yu Dong'er didn't know when she was also here. She hugged her bald man and warmly waved her hand towards Shi Nian. Shi Nian immediately averted his gaze, looking unfamiliar with Yu Dong'er. Yu Dong'er looked admiring and said, "Senior sister is indeed too low. Key." Speaking, he also plucked a handful of bald hair. The bald man glared at her hard. "Wow, it's so cute." Yu Dong'er's eyes lit up and she pulled a handful. Bald man. If it continues like this, it's not just bald anymore, it's going to lose its hair. Wait. The bald man will definitely find an opportunity to leave this demonic woman. As for where to go after leaving, I naturally went to find that low-key woman. It's bald, and its favorite thing is being low-key. It feels that it is indeed the most suitable for timing. Senior sister. Second senior brother Lu Xingji, third senior brother Yun Jian, and junior sister Lin Tian all arrived at the scene. When the three of them saw it, they all looked surprised. Shi Nian slept a bit frizzy last night, and Lu Xingji was a bit worried and helped her compress her hair. After a while, my hair is curling up again. Lu Xingji became restless and said seriously, Junior sister, don't move. This hair must be given to me. He pressed down and didn't move. Shi Nian felt a little helpless and said, Second senior brother, your OCD is getting worse and worse. Lu Xingji remained unmoved, pressing down on Shi Nian's hair with one hand and smoothing out the wrinkles on her clothes with the other. Lin Tian suddenly smiled and said, Second senior brother, look at me quickly. Lu Xingji looked over and then his pupils suddenly shrank. Originally, Lin Tian wore two symmetrical buns, which were very cute and playful. But she dismantled one of them in front of him. This moment it instantly became asymmetrical. Lu Xingji is going crazy. When he loosened his grip, he decided to go and tidy Lin Tian's hair. Result. Shi Nian's hair curled up again. Lu Xingji quickly held down, while Lin Tian began to unravel another bun over there. Lu Xingji. God, kill him. Bored, said the third senior brother Yun Jian calmly. Mu Nanqing also felt somewhat helpless. She is the senior sister, looking at these people really feels like looking at a group of children. Nanqing. A gentle voice sounded, you're here. End of this chapter. Is chapter 8 this kind of person? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Is chapter 8 this kind of person? A man slowly walked over. The alarm bell rang in Shi Nian's heart, and he looked over at it at the first time. Then. Alarm sound, breaking through the sky. This is not Li Jia scum, who is it? It has to be said that being able to be the male lead has indeed given this scumbag a good face. Especially when he is accustomed to dressing up, he always has a gentle smile on his face, and his strength is considered top-notch among the younger generation. In a moment, he has become the dream lover of countless girls. The fierce south wind suddenly approached, and Shi Nian could hear screams from both sides. Shi Nian's face suddenly turned black. This world of novels is indeed a world of novels. The dragon sets are also working too hard. Li Nanfeng walked up to Mu Nanqing in front of everyone's attention. He looked at Mu Nanqing with deep affection and said in a warm voice, Nanqing. The competition to be held later, please. He paused for a moment before laughing and saying, be merciful. If it's normal. Unfortunately, he paused for a moment, his tone also somewhat strange, inexplicably creating a somewhat ambiguous atmosphere. Senior brother Li and senior sister Mu are too compatible, right? Both of them are outstanding young people, and they are a perfect match when they are together. I don't agree with anyone else. If it's sister Mu, I can only say, I can't argue. Shi Nian's face darkened as he listened to these discussions. She looked at Li Nanfeng and suddenly sneered, flipping through her storage compartment. For a while, she flipped out a talisman. Shi Nian silently recited the target of the spell, and the spell flashed through his palm, completing the cast. Senior brother Li, Mu Nan said in a polite tone, it should be because senior brother showed mercy. Li Nanfeng's smile deepened, and he said gently, as long as I see my junior sister, I lose any fighting spirit. If it's really a life and death battle, I'm afraid I'll die under her sword 1,000 times. Mu Nanqing said, She tugged at the corner of her lips. I don't know why. Just a few seconds ago, she felt like she had gained a few pounds. Maybe did you eat too much oil? Nanqing, Li Nanfeng was about to say something further. Suddenly, puff a earth-shattering sound rang out. Li Nanfeng's expression stiffened. He was just, okay. It smells so bad. Someone exclaimed in surprise, covering their nose and retreating in succession. Yun Jian pulled out the sword from his waist, looking alert. What situation, is there a stinky fart demon infiltrating? The next moment. Poo-poo poo-poo, a continuous sound rang out. Everyone looked at Li Nanfeng in unison. This time, they absolutely didn't hear wrong. This is clearly Li Nanfeng farting. Even if you fart, it's okay. The smell was incredibly unpleasant and unbearable. Li Nanfeng's expression was a bit broken as he tried to control the muscles in his buttocks. I might have eaten something bad, he said the next moment. Poo-poo poo-poo, another series of sounds. Li Nanfeng has collapsed. What is the situation? The person who cultivates immortals no longer eats grains and grains. He doesn't even know how long it has been since he passed away. Why today, he happened to be in front of his junior sister. Li Nanfeng looked at Mu Nanqing with some grievances and said, "Junior sister, I don't know what's going on." Mu Nanqing took several steps back in his desperate gaze. Mu Nan held his breath and said, "Senior brother, why don't you go and solve the problem first?" "But I..." Li Nanfeng took a step forward. Everyone takes a step back. Li Nanfeng moves forward again. Everyone step back again. No matter how obsessed you are, you can't stand this bad smell. Looking at Li Nanfeng's fecal expression, Shi Nian was overjoyed. She covered her nose and said, "Senior brother, you have pity on us. Let's leave for a while. Otherwise, there will be a tragedy tomorrow, and the younger generation of the divine martial arts sect will be suffocated to death by the rapid odor on the spot. It's not pleasant to hear this spread." Shi Nian was somewhat gloating. Ha ha ha. The system father is very awesome. This stinky talisman is so useful that even people in their early childhood can be hit. Moreover, she still has nearly 100 copies of this stinky talisman. Some she uses. Very good. She has decided. From then on, Li Nanfeng will no longer adopt a gentle persona. What he wants to do is to adopt a stinky persona. Li Nanfeng looked at the evasive eyes of the crowd, his face a bit ugly. But he gritted his teeth and hurriedly left. Li Nanfeng left. Only then did everyone have the courage to breathe. Oh my God. Senior brother Li is already in his infancy, how could he still fart, and it smells so bad. Did you eat something that shouldn't have been eaten? It's really scary. Looking at the fearful expressions of the fans, Shi Nian was satisfied. Is that right? Fan, who's bad? Fan, a scumbag. The duration of the stinky talisman is half an hour. Half an hour later. Li Nanfeng had a spring breeze-like smile on his face and returned. Shi Nian couldn't help but exclaim in surprise. He is truly someone who can play the leading role. Not to mention anything else, this psychological quality is really good. Nanqing, I've kept you waiting for a long time, Li Nanfeng said in a warm voice. Does our martial arts competition count? Of course. Mu Nanqing smiled and agreed. The two of them stepped onto the stage. Shi Nian squinted his eyes. She still has many means to use on Li Nanfeng. But what senior sister wants is a fair competition. These methods, it's better to wait until the martial arts show is over and play with him slowly on your own. On stage. Li Nanfeng and Mu Nanqing have already started their battle. The martial arts practiced by two people, one reaching yang and the other reaching yin, look very beautiful when fighting. The strength of the two is also evenly matched, and anyone can win. Shi Nian was thinking about the fact that senior sister later became obsessed. Without this incident, senior sister's qualifications could have been completely elevated. This can also be seen from later on, when Yu Zhilan used her senior sister's bones and Yuaning to smoothly follow Li Nanfeng's ascent. So, as long as the senior sister stays well and doesn't become obsessed, this scumbag has no chance at all. Afterwards, I need to pay more attention to my senior sister's cultivation situation. While solving the hidden dangers of senior sister, we also suppress the residue. And that Yu Zhilan, it's best to find her and kill her directly. She doesn't believe it, she can't change the ending herself. Senior sister, are you thinking of some bad idea? Lin Tian suddenly whispered. Shi Nian immediately said with a righteous tone, Junior sister, what are you talking about? Senior sister, am I this kind of person? The second and third senior brothers also looked over, and then the three of them nodded together, yes, you are this kind of person. On Shi Nian's face, she suddenly couldn't hold her breath. She coughed lightly and said, Senior brother and junior sister, you look at me so disappointingly. Unity, love, and helping others are my motto. Helping the weak and the weak, punishing the evil and promoting the good are my principles in life. How could I possibly have bad ideas or such a thing? When you say that, I really... Shi Nian spoke incessantly. Lin Tian whispered, that's it. This time, senior sister has a bad idea, it's a bit big. Lu Xingji and Yun Jian nodded repeatedly. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Difficulties to handle. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9. Difficulties to handle. These people. Shi Nian's head was covered in black lines, pretending not to hear the whispers of these people. She forcefully changed the topic and said, watch the fight. A few people also looked over. On the martial arts stage, Li Nanfeng and Mu Nanqing are about to determine the winner. Mu Nanqing's martial arts are all in his swordsmanship, while Li Nanfeng's cultivation is all hidden in his palm techniques. The attributes of two individuals, one to Yang and the other to Yin. There is a faint feeling of mutual restraint. Finally, Li Nanfeng's cultivation is still more profound, and he has exhausted Mu Nanqing's spiritual power, barely achieving victory. Winning is winning. Li Nanfeng's face was not very attractive. He started his studies 10 years earlier than Mu Nanqing, and is the senior brother of this generation. Result. But he could only rely on the accumulation of spiritual power and very reluctantly defeat Mu Nanqing. If their spiritual power is at the same level, the winner will be Mu Nanqing. This discovery made Li Nanfeng unable to even smile. Senior brother is still impressive. I lost, said Mu Nanqing. Junior sister is already very powerful. Given time, I am definitely not a match for junior sister, said Li Nanfeng. Mu Nan nodded and said, I think so too. Senior brother, let's play another game in 3 months. I think I'll probably win by then. Li Nanfeng. Is it so impolite? However, looking at Mu Nanqing's cold and beautiful face, he felt a bit angry again. He likes Sister Mu, doesn't he? Just like her frankness and sincerity. Li Nanfeng smiled with great grace and said, I'm also looking forward to this day. It won't be too far. Mu Nanqing was indeed very sincere. Otherwise, sincerity is the ultimate skill. Li Nanfeng is now choked and unable to speak. Get off the arena. Li Nanfeng spoke up and said, Junior sister, I have received top-quality spiritual tea today. If you have time, come and sit with me. Mu Nanqing shook his head and said, Senior brother, I'm kind, but I'm not good at tasting tea. Giving me good tea is like drinking water from a cow. Li Nanfeng still wanted to persuade, but Shi Nian smiled and said, Senior brother, is your tea really good? Li Nanfeng immediately raised his head and said proudly, that's nature. This is the legendary Anling tea, which not only has a fragrant taste but also has a calming effect, very precious. Wow! Shi Nian exclaimed with a surprised expression, "It's so generous that senior brothers are willing to take out such good tea and drink it with senior sisters." Li Nanfeng glanced at it and thought for a moment. Although she is young, she still has a bit of cuteness. This speech is even more pleasing to the ear. He couldn't help but smile a little more and said, "That's natural. As long as it's what Nanqing wants, as long as it's what I have, I won't hesitate." Mu Nanqing couldn't help but frown. Li Nanfeng's actions today are somewhat lacking in sense of propriety. She was about to say something. "Senior brother is really good," Shi Nian said with a smile. "However, my senior sister really doesn't like drinking tea. However, many people also like it. Senior brother will bring the tea and let everyone taste the legendary Anling tea." Haha. This scumbag is deeply favored by the leader, and there are many good things in his hands. Doing something with him, anyway, Shi Nian doesn't feel any guilt at all. Lin Tian understood and quickly blinked her innocent Kazlan's big eyes, saying, "Yes, senior brother, we all like it. We are also your junior sisters. You can't just give senior sister a drink and not give us one." Shi Nian gave Lin Tian a approving glance and continued, "Yes. Senior brother, you can't just treat senior sister well. With so many junior brothers and sisters in the sect, you have to treat them equally. Tian has always heard that senior brothers are gentle and considerate towards their junior brothers and sisters, treating them like siblings. If senior brothers are only good to senior sisters, then Tian should doubt whether senior brothers have any thoughts about our senior sisters." Shi Nian suddenly looked surprised and said, "Ah. Sweetheart, do you think senior brother Li is interested in our senior sister? This can't be said nonsense. Senior sister has already said that she has nothing else to ask for in her life except to become an immortal. This relationship between a man and a woman is not what senior sister expected. Senior brother Li is such a gentle person, and it is impossible to force others to have such an inappropriate mindset towards senior sister." "Oh my goodness. Senior sister, you're right. I think I misunderstood. Senior brother Li actually wanted to invite all the disciples of the sect to tea, but he didn't say it clearly, making me think he only wanted to invite senior sister alone." Lin Tian looked regretful. "Junior sister, that's why you're wrong. In the future, you can't misunderstand senior brother Li like this," Shi Nian said as if it were true or false. Lin Tian also quickly admitted her mistake. These two people sang and reconciled, and Sheng turned Li Nanfeng's small invitation into inviting all the disciples of the sect to tea. Li Nanfeng's face couldn't help but turn green and white. He said slowly, "There isn't that much tea. I'm afraid there isn't that much." "Oh, what's the matter? We all just want to taste it. Senior brother, you just take out all the tea leaves and soak them in a few big barrels." Shi Nian said, already shouting, "Does anyone have a big barrel? Senior brother Li wants to treat us to tea." Before Li Nanfeng could say anything, some disciples had already responded warmly. Not long ago, in the martial arts arena, a few large buckets were placed on the table. Everyone looked at Li Nanfeng expectantly. "That's Anling tea. Drink whatever you want, it's all their profit." Li Nanfeng said, "This tea is indeed very precious," and when he invited Mu Nanqing, he only intended to bring out a small portion. The current situation is not stopping until all his inventory is depleted. But Li Nanfeng is truly Li Nanfeng. At this point, his face still wore a smile like a spring breeze. "This tea is precious, and I don't have much either. But as the chief disciple, I cannot hide anything. Today, I will share it with everyone." Shi Nian looked at it and was amazed, but at the same time, he became even more vigilant. This scumbag is not easy to deal with. Li Nanfeng indeed took out a box of tea leaves, divided them into each big barrel, and then soaked them in a massive amount of water. The disciples each shared a bowl, although it didn't taste much anymore, everyone was also quite happy. Li Nanfeng's face showed a guilty expression. Nanfeng's ability is not enough, and he can only achieve this level. When Nanfeng has the ability next day, he will invite everyone to drink better tea. Li Nanfeng's words were so clear that the eyes of everyone couldn't help but sparkle with stars. Senior brother, you are indeed senior brother. Shi Nian squinted his eyes. She can't watch Li Nanfeng buy people's hearts like this. The talisman in his palm flashed away, and Shi Nian used another talisman. This time, she used a pain symbol. The person who was hit only felt pain all over their body, which was very difficult to endure. For a moment, Li Nanfeng's face was still full of spring breeze, but for the next moment, his expression became ferocious. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. Unfortunately Nanfeng. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. Unfortunately Nanfeng. Shi Nian looked shocked and quickly said, Senior brotherly, what's wrong with you? Your face doesn't look very good. Li Nanfeng gritted his teeth as he was about to try to say a few words. Shi Nian looked apologetic and said, Senior brother, I'm sorry. I know this tea is very precious. You must be very sorry for taking out so much in one breath, right? I'm sorry, I won't drink it. Li Nanfeng tried hard to squeeze out a smile. Taking out so much tea leaves, he certainly feels very distressed. But since it has already been taken out, we must make everyone accept his feelings. How could he, at such a critical moment, suddenly become reluctant to part ways? He suddenly felt a sharp pain for some reason. This pain seems to be coming from a crack in the bone. He considers himself a person with strong willpower. When practicing, no matter how painful it was, he didn't frown. But this time, he couldn't control his expression at all. Senior brotherly, don't drink Tian anymore. Lin Tian also sighed, Senior brother, don't worry. We haven't had much tea here yet. Let's help you transport it to the entrance of the cave later. Upon hearing this, the disciples also expressed that they would not drink anymore. They couldn't help but mutter in their hearts. Although this tea is precious. But Li Nanfeng shouldn't be so uncomfortable, right? It seems that the legendary generous senior brother can only be described as legendary. Li Nanfeng's little fans were also somewhat disappointed. Mainly, Li Nanfeng's expression was really ugly. If he is so unwilling, then don't take it out. I took it out and made it look like this. It seems that these people are not sensible anymore. I don't know if it's painful or urgent, but fine sweat appeared on Li Nanfeng's forehead. His lips trembled and he said, I didn't mean that. Li Nanfeng's words were about to fall. Brush. Shi Nian threw a bad luck talisman out. The next moment, a bird flew over from the sky. Pop. A pile of excrement happened to fall on Li Nanfeng's face. Li Nanfeng's lips trembled and he couldn't speak for a while. Senior brother, let's go back and wash our face first. Don't worry, we'll bring this tea water later, Shi Nian said. Li Nanfeng was unwilling to leave like this. But the next moment, a dozen or so birds flew by together. Coincidentally, all the excrement fell on Li Nanfeng. Be a good chief disciple, instantly stinking. Li Nanfeng was going crazy, and his palm condensed the flames, ready to extinguish these birds in an instant. Shi Nian quickly said, Senior brother, these birds have already gained spirituality. According to the sect rules, it is not allowed to kill spiritual objects in the divine martial arts sect. Li Nanfeng's spirit and emotions changed, and his palm loosened and loosened. That group of birds flew away like this. Shi Nian covered his nose and said, another flock of birds has arrived. Senior brother, are you still not leaving? Tianbian. Sure enough, another group of birds flew towards this direction. Li Nanfeng's face showed a frightened expression, and he ignored everything else and quickly left. But that group of birds is also strange. They don't go anywhere else, they just follow Li Nanfeng. Li Nanfeng dodged all the way, but still didn't dodge everything. His face and body were covered in white objects, not to mention how embarrassed he was. He hurried into his cave and quickly closed the door before avoiding the flock of birds. I really saw a ghost. No matter how deeply Nanfeng's city mansion is, his expression now seems a bit grim. These damn birds, he will eventually exterminate their entire tribe. The pain on my body has disappeared. Li Nanfeng couldn't bear the smell on his body and planned to take a shower first. He seems to have a particularly difficult time today. While taking a shower, he inexplicably slipped several times. After finally cleaning himself up, he discovered that the spiritual beast he had cultivated in the cave had suddenly undergone a mutation, causing a great disturbance in the cave and making everything a mess. Li Nanfeng put in a lot of effort to solve these things. A hint of suspicion flashed in Li Nanfeng's eyes. What is the situation today? Why do some strange things happen to him repeatedly? Just say it just now. He suddenly became the embodiment of bad luck, but from childhood to adulthood, his luck has always been extremely good. Belongs to the type where treasures can be found even when going out. There's no reason, his fortune suddenly changed. Li Nanfeng's expression suddenly became alert. Did someone have a black hand on him? The last possibility is that the demon race is proficient in cursing. However, although he has amazing talent, he is only a small disciple now. Which demon tribe would spare no effort to attack him? Li Nanfeng pondered while sitting on a chair, not daring to move. He is worried that if he moves, something unexpected will happen again. An hour has passed. Li Nanfeng tentatively walked around. This time, nothing strange happened again. Li Nanfeng finally breathed a sigh of relief. It seems that this strange bad luck has passed. At this moment, a talisman drifted in. The talisman ignited in the air, and then the sound of Shi Nian came from inside. Senior brother Li, I have brought the tea water for you. Li Nanfeng said. In his eyes, there was a flash of killing intent. He forced himself to hold back, and even a warm spring breeze smile appeared on his face. He personally opened the door of the cave. Shi Nian blinked her innocent big eyes and said, Senior brother, don't be sad. Everyone hasn't had much to drink yet. With so much tea and water, senior brother, you can drink it slowly. It's been a long time. Li Nanfeng could hardly control his expression. But finally, it was tense. He said in a warm voice, Junior sister Shi, you misunderstood. I didn't mean to part ways. I just had a sudden and unbearable pain. Shi Nian nodded and said, Senior brother, I understand. I'll explain it to you and everyone later. I understand. But there is no hint of trust in her appearance. Li Nanfeng also realized. This matter is irreparable. No matter how much he explains, no one will believe it. Li Nanfeng's face remained unchanged and he said calmly, those who are clear will be clear. I believe that over time, everyone will always know my character. Shi Nian nodded repeatedly. Over time, she will definitely let everyone know that this bastard is just a scumbag. Junior sister, if there's nothing else, please go back first. Senior brother, there are still some things to be busy with, Li Nanfeng said in a warm voice. Shi Nian looked aggrieved and said, Senior brother, I've been carrying so much water all by myself, it's very tiring. Li Nanfeng said, Just put it in the storage bag. Do you still need to move? Li Nanfeng took a deep breath and said, what does junior sister mean? Shi Nian smiled and extended 2 fingers, giving a lewd caress. Li Nanfeng was a little speechless, but he gently handed out some spirit stones. Younger martial sister, this spirit stone is just a little bit of your heart. Thank you, senior brother. Shi Nian quickly picked it up and said, then I won't disturb you. She ran away in a flash. Li Nanfeng looked at her back and squinted his eyes. At this moment, it seems a bit targeted at him. Is what happened to him related to Sister Shi? This idea had just flashed, but was denied by Li Nanfeng. Not to mention that this curse is usually the best skill of the demon clan. Even if Shi Nian has this ability, she is only at the peak of qi refining. How can she be unaware of the gods and ghosts, and let herself be a yuaning in the later stage? For safety reasons. Li Nanfeng asked in a low voice, is she really the peak of qi refining? Soon. In his mind, an elderly voice came. Don't worry. This little girl is truly the pinnacle of qi refining. Li Nanfeng also completely eliminated Shi Nian. In his mind, it was Imo Lao, whose divine soul was at the level of Mahayana. At this moment, the cultivation I am studying cannot be concealed from Imo Lao. End of this chapter.